Let's look at simplifying some square roots or radicals. So we have the square root of negative 121, or the other way to read that is radical negative 121. So I know that I should split this up to be the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 121. That way I can use my calculator for the real part. The square root of negative 1 is I, our imaginary number. Now I want to try to take the square root of 121. If it comes out to be a whole number, that's my answer. If it comes out to be a decimal, I'm going to try to simplify what's under the radical or the square root. Well, the square root of 121 is 11. So my answer is going to be 11i. If I move over to the next one, well, what's the square root of 49? The square root of 49 is 7. So the square root of negative 49 is going to be 7i. So you can split it up if you have to, like we did in the first one, or you might be able to recognize a perfect square right off the bat, like we did in the second one. Now I'm looking at this square root of negative 24. I'm going to put an I on the outside. That's going to take care of the negative part. And I'm going to grab my calculator and see, can I take the square root of 24? It does not come out to be a nice whole number. So I'm going to go off to the side and see if I can reduce that radical by pulling out any prime numbers. So I can divide 24 by 2 or 3 or try 5 or 7. So some prime numbers that I know go in, I know this is divisible by 2. So I'm going to pull out a 2, and then 2 times 12 is 24. I want to divide 12 by another prime number. So dividing 12 by 3 would give me 4. Divide 4 by 2, and I get 2. So I have a pair. I have actually 3 2s. So if I have a pair of 2s, the 2 gets to go outside. So I have 2i on the outside. And then the single ones that I have left are going to get multiplied together on the inside. So this is going to be 2i. And then I have 3 times 2 is going to be root 6 left on the inside. So I could pull out the 2s, and that pair of 2s gets to be what's on the outside. What's ever left over goes under the radical and gets multiplied together. So 2 times 3 gave me the 6. So now I'm going to look at the next one over. I know I'm going to be able to pull out an I because it's a negative. And then I can plug into my calculator the square root of 128. It comes out to be a decimal, so I'm going to try to pull out some prime numbers. So I want to do 128 and divide it by like 2, 3, 5, 7. I want to go through some prime numbers. I can divide it by 2, which gives me 64. And hey, 64 is a square, right? 64 is 8 times 8. So I don't have to pull out a prime number. I can recognize a perfect square. So I can pull out 8 as a pair outside. I'm going to get 8i. And then I just have a 2 left over. So nothing to multiply with it on the inside. It's 8i radical 2. So there's a few ways to simplify what's under a radical, even if it's a negative number.